Hello, everybody. I'm in the lab, so this is going to be a little bit different beginning to the video. I just want to say this is going to be part 4 by S Kid, and he actually talks about Klima, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why you see Klima on the screen, and I want to say welcome. And before I get into it, of course, we are going to be at the Stop Struggling Now YouTube channel page. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this last part 4 on if these are scams or not, we're going to talk about a little leverage first because this video had to be blacked out in certain areas because the information was private to a specific group. So therefore, I want you to understand when they were talking about leveraging, and again, this is not financial advice. We're going to go here to market.xyz. This has not begun yet, but see leverage assets you believe in. Here are stable coins, index, and BFI, but I'm going to go green leverage because you see the Klima logo over here. This is just started. Keep that in mind. And now you may be able to earn extra APY or rewards by staking your S Klima, by putting it into a pool here at market.xyz. This is something that's a little bit new, but you're able to earn additional rewards. So imagine every 8 hours you're earning rewards. Then all of a sudden, you see here where you can earn some additional rewards on top of the every 8-hour rewards per day. So if it's per day, it could be 0.023 per day, 0.136% per day. That is compounding on top of compounding. Now your money is growing even at a faster rate. That is what he was talking about regarding leverage and arbitrage in part 3. He's going to mention this again at the end of part 4. So I just wanted to get you up to speed on why he's talking this way. I also want to get you up to speed because some of you are in, I don't know if it's Spacabra. I don't know how to do that one. Hector DAO. If you wrap your coins, the same thing you can do at Spooky Swap, earn 93%. APR. How about 124% APR? These are wrapped. Once again, you're earning interest on your wrapped tokens that are earning a rebase and a reward every 8 hours, and then you're earning a percentage every day. 93% divided by 365. That gives you a roundabout figure on that percentage that goes on top. So think about that. You are exponentially making your money work for you twice. You're leveraging it by putting it into another pool. This is the liquidity pool. And you can see wrapped ETH, FTM, ETH, FTM. So again, this is what we're talking about. And I'll even go one step further because I have Morpheus over here. And once again, Morpheus has a bunch of others that you could put in the pool. So the same thing happens here. These are farms, liquidity pools, FTM, Pills M, 180%. Then if you start doing something Neo and adding to it, it's 400%. This is very, very powerful, and this is the future of finance potentially. And once again, you have Wrap Memo that you can see down here that people are familiar with. So 47%, almost 2% per month. on top of your rebase, that adds up, ladies and gentlemen. All right, without further ado, let's get into the video with S Kid.
So wealth generation is never about finding something and go, woohoo, I've made it, and then just sitting still. You've got to sweat your assets. You've got to work your assets. People get lazy. So people are good at thinking up to one order of thought, so to speak, and they found it. But not many people then go on and keep on trying to hack it. I love hacking stuff. I don't like getting complacent, so I like to squeeze everything I have. So I was thinking, I love M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So I thought, why do people buy businesses? Well, when you buy a business, you do it because you want to convert your capital. So normally someone buys a business, they've got a bunch of capital that they don't know how to sweat, and they're like, right, I need to turn this into cash flow. Okay, let's go and buy a ready-made business, hopefully something in a booming sector, doing well, automated, it's got a great staff, it's got recurring revenue, it's a cash cow. These are all the reasons why you would buy a business, right? And then I thought,
and luckily for me, I have all my best ideas drunk. I have the best idea!
Honestly, I think I did get this when I was drunk the other night. I'm going to tie in my mergers and acquisitions knowledge with crypto, or mainly Ohm. And I think it's beautiful. It's my next business I'm about to set up over the next week or two. And by the way, I'm not one of those people that keeps ideas. A lot of people are like, I'm not going to tell anyone my business idea. Everyone's going to steal it. I've been in this game for a while now. No one does shit. I could give you $1 billion idea right now, and none of you will do anything about it. Not one person. I've told so many people to buy freaking crypto over the last 4 years. How many people have done it? Like no one, other than RT students. So I'm not worried about telling my plans. My secret master plan here. This is game changer. You can all do this. Go copy me. I'm literally, copy it. Now, I've run over, so I'm going to really speed through this bit. All that is great, but it's also led me to something which I think is potentially game-changing. Potentially, there's a big potential here because as of yesterday, the price dropped like 50%. So it is potential here. And there's a lovely bridge between the cyberspace and the real world here in terms of climate change. And it's called Klima DAO. So Klima is the word for climate in Greek and German. So it's Klima. And this is basically an Olympus DAO spin-off. They've copied everything, but they're making it green. Now, to understand this, we need to go backwards a bit. And we need to understand how the carbon credit markets work. At the moment, carbon incentives are completely incongruent. You can have a bastard company like BP or Shell or whatever, exploring, which is really bad for the environment, drilling, mining, exploring, extracting, refining, and then shipping it all over the world. The amount of carbon, not just CO2, CO2 is not that bad actually, it's carbon monoxide, which is the bad one. It's incongruent, so they're basically polluting the world, and they can sort of just like palm it off by buying carbon credits and sort of offsetting their guilt. And so, I'm pressing the wrong button here. So you have two parts of the carbon market. You have the compliance market and the voluntary market. Now the compliance market is basically legalized pollution. So every government around the world will have a certain quotient. So Steve, you're a company, you are allowed to make a certain amount of pollution. And if Steve makes a little bit less pollution than we allow him, he gets some offset credits. So he actually gets rewarded for not polluting as much as he is allowed to pollute, even though he's still polluting. You're not a polluter, but you know what I mean. So they're allowed to make a certain amount of pollution, and they can. And for let's say they don't do for anything that they're missing, they can just buy credits and go, oh screw it, we'll just buy $1 million worth of carbon credits, and then we're carbon neutral. Woohoo! But it's lazy, right? You're basically using money to offset your guilt at the end of the day. And the reason it's all incongruent, because it's easier to buy carbon credits than actually going and planting, 1 million trees in the rainforest or solar farms, etc. So to make it a congruent system, it needs to be cheaper to go completely green and set up solar farms and all that sort of stuff than buying carbon credits, right? That's what first principle thinking would dictate. So you then have the other side of the market, which is the voluntary market. So this is where, you know, people like you and I or companies go, oh, I've got some spare money here. I'm just going to buy some solar panels. Or I'm going to plant some trees. Because you're doing it because you want to, right? Most of the time it's solar panels because you want to do well for the world but also get paid, right? Incentives are everything. If you have the right incentive, you can do anything. So, and so what happens if you set up a solar farm is that you then get audited by a third-party auditor, and they go, yes, this will suck up or X amount of tons of carbon every year. And so you can get a certain amount of carbon credits every single year. And then that green project can then sell the carbon credits onto the market, okay? At the moment, it's not that congruent because carbon credits are dirt cheap. You can buy 1 ton's worth of audited, verified carbon credits between 10 to 35 pounds. Cheap as chips. So I could be a massive polluter and just buy shitloads of carbon credits and not cost me a penny. So here's how Klima is trying to shake up this market. What they want to do is use this epic tokenomics that Olympus DAO has created to amass a huge treasury, like Olympus has. And what are they going to do with that treasury? They're going to use it to hoover up as many carbon credits as they can, all over the globe. Now, why would they do that? So they drive up the price. Beautiful. So if anyone was familiar with GameStop and how there was a massive short squeeze and GameStop went, whee! This is the GameStop for carbon. It's amazing. So yeah, they want to buy up all the carbon credits, drive up the price so high that it's actually cheaper to set up a solar farm or planting trees or removing plastic from the sea. Yeah. So instead of, and every company has all these ESG targets, environmental, social, and governance targets. And if they can do this, this will be a game changer. This is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar entity if Klima doesn't crash and die. So we just got to hope it lasts at least a year. So, or for it to get a nice big treasury. By the way, it's only just launched. Now here's the crazy thing about this rebased DAI tokenomics. Olympus went from $0 to $4 billion market cap in 7 months. This is one of the fastest growing things in human history. And then everyone is now copying Olympus with slightly different things. So Time is a spin-off of Olympus. They went to $0 to $1.2 billion in 2 months. That is the fastest growing thing in human history. Until the other day. Until Klima DAO did their token launch last week. In 3 days, they went from $0 to $1.16 billion. In 3 days. Amazing. Imagine what Klima could do. Could. I have to really stress the words could, potentially, may, because we don't know. It's too early. It's 3 days. So obviously, it's literally a newborn child. All I wanted to stress is that the world, I said this in the last cuddle, global MV, so the money velocity is dropping off a cliff. And that is the only reason they're printing currency willy-nilly. Because they're trying to spark MV, which is why Jerome Powell is doing all this sort of stimulus, which means every investment under the sun is getting diluted, unless you're making more than 15% per year. So, and we are falling off, we are literally hovering in midair at the moment. The economy will collapse. It will. It's just a matter of time. But the Federal Reserve, all the central banks, they just keep on shoving morphine and heroin into the system, just keep it going a bit longer. And so this is why I'm massively bullish on Ohm, Time, and Klima. And maybe some other spin-offs. I mean, there's, by the way, caution, there are loads of Olympus spin-offs which are crashing in the first week. So they're doing really well and then they're just dying. Because they don't have, there's over 100 developers on this project. I don't know what it is for Klima. There's not that many on Time, actually. So I think everyone will die by the wayside, but I think Olympus is the one that will actually last the longest. And I'm very bearish on sex. That looks like sex, doesn't it? Dollar, euro, pound. Really bearish, because they're just being diluted away. And so for the last 20 odd years, everyone has been worshipping the false idols, the false altar of premium bonds, ISAs, tracker funds, and index funds. The whole financial regulation system hasn't changed in 50 odd years. And so you still have IFAs going, yep, you need to do this, 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 and you'll hopefully not make any money. Honestly, they're just, the amount of, some of the advice I'm hearing from IFAs these days, they should be shot. And again, go back to the last cuddle where I talked about, the Argentinian example. where everyone that listened to a financial advisor in Argentina lost all their money. So, yeah, this is sort of the meme that goes on in my head at the moment.